Wendy, that's right. Here at Highmark Stadium, it's very secure. The goals are anchored securely to the ground. Unfortunately, we found several area youth, high school, even college fields where that is not the case. And tonight we're explaining why that presents a real danger. The worst day of Mary Elias's life happened 8 years ago on a soccer field. Her 10-year-old son, Hayden, on that field. Mom and Dad on the sidelines.
Hayden always said he was going to be a famous soccer player. You know, kids always have those dreams.
On this night, Hayden was playing goalie, though everyone was unaware of the hidden danger right behind him.
He saved a ball. The last thing we saw was him kick the ball, and it went more like midway downfield, so everybody was sort of watching that. And as our attention was drawn to where the ball went, you could hear a huge crash. When we looked downfield, there he was under the goal. The goal had fallen over on him. It's a hard thing to see.
Hayden was covered in blood, his neck broken. Other parents tried to shield his mother from the sight.
And I said, if he's dying, he needs his mother. And they let me go. I didn't know he was really dying.
It's been nearly a decade since Hayden's death that night in Stevens City, Virginia. Mary laying with him on a table that night at the hospital, too late to save him, but making a promise to Hayden to save others. To save them from goals like the one that killed Hayden, goals that are supposed to be anchored to the ground.
Never, ever would I've ever dreamed that there was a danger lying right there every day. Just didn't know it.
But Hayden's one of at least 39 people killed since 1979 in the U.S. and Canada, ages 4 to 31, all from goals crushing them. And at least 57 have been seriously injured, including a Pittsburgh girl, hurt when a goal fell and crushed her foot. This in spite of warnings on every single goalpost that we saw to anchor goals at all times. Goals that are light in the back, but are loaded with hundreds of pounds of metal in the front. Soccer goals actually come with anchors, but we found that all across western Pennsylvania in 6 different counties, they aren't being used. Take Allegheny County, for instance. Here at Woodland Hills Soccer Field, the main goals are bolted to the ground, but less than 20 yards away, some of the practice goals are clearly not secured. At Shenley Oval, several unanchored goals, one with a sandbag that was empty. That can lead to this. In Westmoreland County, many unanchored goals on the campus of the community college. Washington County, one field had every goal anchored. Good. But a couple miles down the road, a different story at the Chartiers Houston field. Instead of sitting in these holes where they're supposed to be to keep the goal from tipping over, instead we found the stakes just up here on this fence, doing nothing. In Beaver County, plenty of anchors just not being used on the goals. And in Butler County, these 6 goals were all unanchored, some on slopes at the Mars Area Youth Field. At Freeport High School, we found 2 unanchored goals as the girls' soccer coach practiced with a player.
The thought has never crossed our mind about that. You know, that's why I guess we're a little bit free with them and not so much, worrying about anyone hurting themselves.
And in Armstrong County, several goals at this youth field, lifting right up while players take shots. Another problem is old data with the Consumer Product Safety Commission, which lists 36 deaths from soccer goals, while advocacy groups count more.
People turn to organizations, the first thing they turn to is the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and they say, well, we only have this statistic. Well, your statistics are outdated.
A Safety Commission rep emailed us admitting sometimes our information does lag. In Western Pennsylvania, Tim McCoy oversees nearly every soccer league as director of PA West Soccer. We found a few goals that have been unanchored on fields around the area. When you hear that, is it troubling to you?
It is, and because I think the individuals are who should be responsible are being a little bit neglectful, or being a lot of neglectful, to be honest.
Despite PA West's best intentions, it's up to local soccer groups to act, and awareness only goes so far. Mary Elias has done her part, doing nearly 24 interviews the past 8 years, even on national TV. Yet her goal of a new law remains just a dream. Her son Hayden, of course, will never get the chance to go pro. But there are scholarships in his name and hopes of a state or even federal law. All as his mother clings to that promise she made to Hayden, that his death will make a difference.
2 scholarships, one in for a boy, one for a girl, and that was overwhelming.
So it's in his name?
Yep.
So he is a famous soccer player.
Yep. He is.
Tough to watch there. Well, right now across the country, only 3 states have laws about this. Laws that mandate goal safety plans and can issue fines if organizations use them improperly. Those states do not include Virginia or Pennsylvania.
You know, Bo, as I'm sitting here, I'm a soccer mom. How many other soccer parents are out there watching tonight? And they're wondering, well, what caused that particular goalpost to fall on Hayden?
Oh, well, Wendy, that's actually a really good question. So what caused that? People actually don't know. He was the goalie on the other side of the field kicking that ball. Everyone had their eye on the ball, and they do not know what happened. But typically, the 2 main causes of goals tipping over are from the wind, high gusts of wind, or from kids hanging on the crossbars, as the goals, of course, warn them not to do. But kids will be kids, and sometimes that is something that just can happen.